says I have one for this at this point. I don't even. Know what I forgot to do? Damn. Can't even do it right now. I'm about to do it later. I got that kind of time on my hands. Anyway, I got time. Anyway, I got time. I just peep how that's not supposed to be that. Well, that's supposed to be that, but I didn't make it. It's not. Probably should remake that because that could be a little confusing. That can be a little confusing. I'll make it. My cursor. Alright, boom. Alright, boom. So, Lil Durk trial. This is actually, it's not the second day. It's the second day that we're getting like testimonies and whatnot like that. The first 2 days were all about jury selection. It's the fourth day of the Lil Durk trial. Started before the weekend. It's the fourth day, and this is actually the day where OTF Jam and OTF. I know Jam. I'm not sure. I know Jam was supposed to testify today, or is gonna testify today. We haven't heard about that yet, but for sure Jam is. I'm not sure about Vonnie yet. But Mo Gangula is there. Trap Lord Ross is there. Seti Nash is there. So everybody that's in the courtroom reporting on the information, they are there. So let's see what they talk about. And I kind of already seen this, so I kind of already got like we're just gonna get into it.
Messages from Lil Durk took center stage this morning at the Lil Durk trial. Let me break it down for you. What you see behind me is a illustration that I just made. It's not the actual text messages. This is just so you can help follow my breakdown. The prosecution now claims that, look, there's a text where Durk says, "Don't book no flights under my name." That shows his knowledge of the conspiracy, his attempt to distance himself from the conspiracy and criminal liability, and him directing people how to pull it all off. Brian Steele got a chance to cross-examine the lead detective on this text message. I thought Brian Steele did a phenomenal job, basically tore him to pieces, but there was still some work that needs to be done. It didn't get done. That's going to be something Durk's going to have to deal with on another witness if you ask me. Let me break it down. So the message starts and Steele goes, "All right, detective, this is Durk Banks sending some type of Instagram link to the person." The text like, "Yeah, okay." And then Steele's like, "Well, what did he send him? What's this link about?" And the text's like, "I don't know." He's like, "Oh, you didn't look?" He's like, "Nah." Okay, not very good investigation work for one of the most, if not the most critical text messages in the whole case. And then he says, Durk Banks, Steele goes, "All right, Durk's next message, he's still gonna post, okay? What's that about?" The detective's like, "I don't know." Okay, then he says, "I'm gonna fall back off this shit." What's that about? The detective's like, "I don't know." Okay, then he says, "Blood." What's that about, detective? He's like, "Oh, I think he's just trying to get his attention." Like, yo. Brian says like, okay. Then he says, don't book no flights under no names involved with me. What's that about? Text like, oh, that's it. That's him saying, I don't want to be involved with the flights that we're arranging for the people to go from Chicago to LA. That shows his knowledge of the conspiracy. Steele's like, okay. And then what's the next message where the guy sends him back the link? Text like, I don't know. I didn't see it.
So boom, there's 4 prior messages, one of which is an Instagram link, and then the messages after the quote unquote direction for whatever, you don't know what it is. So there's a whole text thread, and see, look, the thing with language, bro, everything can be easily like misunderstood. Like, how do you know what he's referring to, or how do you know that that's something that don't book no flights under my no names involved with me alone isn't incriminating? You're gonna need context to put that together. So are you assuming what it means based off? Like, no, like, cause like if you're in the jury and you're really like unbiased, honestly, like what context about this text thread that you don't even know the details about, like as far as what the links they're sending or what they're even talking about? What is the context that that's being provided that's telling me that this is criminal? Like, nothing here screams criminal, and then you don't even know, like, like the whole premise of the conversation because you didn't do your due diligence. You seen something and you cherry picked something that fits your narrative for the investigation, and you took it to trial, which is crazy for them to even have a detective up here who don't know like the details of the text thread. This is the main text thread, because if you're trying to say Durk is murder for hire, he's the boss, the Rico, all this other cool shit, if you're trying to pin all this on Durk, then you're going to need solid evidence to say that he's in charge. So this is the main text thread that can really point to, Durk allegedly being in charge, and you don't even know the full scope of the text thread. Come on now, Ricky shit.
So Steele did a great job showing that for what is the most important text message conversation in this trial, potentially, or probably, the detective can't even give you the context of all these posts and statements that are made in and around that. And then Steele suggested, hey, did you ever look to see if they were talking about some other flights? And the guy's like, no, I don't know. In my opinion, if I were a juror, I'd be looking at that going, okay, well, what was it about? I'd really want to know what it was about. And if you told me what it was about, I would say the government is full of fucking you-know-what. I just said the F, but I didn't say the S. So it goes. Next video, we're going to cover the rest of what the detective said and the rest of Brian Steele's cross-examination. Like, comment, follow. Let me know you need part 2. Alleged text.
And see, look, here's what like most people, like a lot of people always want to, well, not a lot of people, but it's people out here like Vlad and Trap Lord Ross who want you to believe that, oh, well, like they're trying to stick with this narrative that Durk did it. Basically, he's guilty, and they saying that's not what they're doing, but that's really what they're doing. They're trying to throw Durk under the bus, and they're really saying, well, if someone's telling you this, that, and the third, like that Durk has a chance, or that there's light, or that the evidence isn't as serious, they're lying. They're telling you what you want to hear. How could this be something that somebody just wants to hear? How can this be anything? Like, when you go to court, it's not about, well, duh, he did it. We know he was cool. It's not about that. You got to prove it. You innocent until proven guilty. Now, I know a lot of times in this country, we like to forget that. And within the legal system, we also like to forget that. But you're innocent until proven guilty. If you're going to say that he's some kind of gang boss and he's putting out hits and he's in charge, you got to prove that. And if this is the evidence and this is your lead detective, I am not impressed. I am not convinced. Like, y'all got to stop, like, trying to make people guilty before they're actually... I don't get it, bro. Like, it's weird to me. Seti Nash, he covering it, too. Like,
increments for Instagram, YouTube, just watch the whole entire thing. When you see me stop, that just is what it is. So you had a cop on the stand that was basically left off where we left off yesterday on his testimony. The ties were granted, so everybody's in there with ties on. And then one crazy note that I noticed, they're not calling Quando Rondo Tyquane Bowman. They're just flat out calling him Quando Rondo. And I think they're doing that shit so that if the jurors do look on the internet and look at Quando Rondo, I think they're trying to push some type of sympathy on him. That's me personally, that's just what I believe. Because why aren't y'all calling him goddamn Quando Rondo? I mean, why aren't y'all calling him Tyquane Bowman at all?
facts.
But it is what it is. So the cop on the stand left off at the gas station. He went for the call logs. He got Jem's IG and Jem's number. He got Jim's location. He had the calls that he had with Vonnie and Jim's phone. They had calls with Didi and Vonnie. They got cell site from cell phones. Asa and Jim flew in together. The cop said Vonnie's number wrong. And then the cop clears up the number for the damn feds again. See, the feds are saying shit like this. Oh, we're letting in Exhibit 30, but it was 33. But the cop says, yeah, it was Exhibit 30. And then the feds are cleaned up and say Exhibit 33. So that's leading already, which means the cop don't really know his shit. He tried to act like a little bit later on, but don't worry, I'm gonna get into that in just a moment. Then you find out that Didi has a big chance of beating the case because he didn't do shit. And one of the things that did get admitted, but...
And look, and these like the police and the detectives who don't really know what they're talking about, I think they're talking about like the police. If y'all don't know, like... Police, like they kind of they kind of beef over jurisdiction and like who's in charge of what case and everything. So these police officers who damn near it's looking like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They probably was like kicked off the case early. Like they probably was like, yeah, like he was the lead police detective at the precinct police department, but like the case was really handed to the federal detectives. So like that's probably like. Yeah, these police. I don't think the police, like the actual police, they're not gonna work really. They're not gonna really work together. Like Badge and Nightstick isn't gonna really work together with the suits. It's just not. That's just not how it works. So I think those are the folks who don't know what the hell they're talking about. The people that's in Badge and Nightsticks, and they gonna fuck your case up if y'all trying to prosecute Smirk.
I'll let y'all be the judge of that. Is Didi basically got a text thread with this girl? I'm not gonna say her name. If the bloggers do it, then they do it. I'm not doing that shit because I don't want her harassed, and I don't want to be a part of no lawsuit for harassment. Got me doing the damn Bootsy shit. Anyway, so Didi get hit up by her. She say, Didi, what you doing? He say, I'm on my way to LA. She say, what's in LA? He say, shit, the guys. She say, why you ain't take me? He say, I ain't know till 2 hours before the flight. And they got that Jason paid for the flights back home and all that. Then we get into the in and out shit, and the in and out shit is kind of crazy. So day 2 of the little Durk trial, and I'm gonna break this.
It's like part 1.
Now, the in and out shit is interesting because the lie about the payments of everybody being paid was never true. And y'all gotta remember, that was in the first superseding indictment. So they said Jam was getting a soda, and it wasn't a soda, it was a damn lemonade. See, when they act like the feds know all, it's these little details that you should be paying attention to because the cop never crazy to say, hey, he wasn't. Some of y'all may think that's irrelevant, but it is relevant because of the truthfulness of everything that happens within what happens next. So basically, Jim is in there with the red Nationals hat on that he had since he came out the freaking the airport with it. They had Keith Jones, who's a shooter, and then the cop says that they were reacting to the news on their phone. He said they reacted to a news clip on their phone. That actually never happened because we could see the phone screen. We see Jam's phone, we see Jones' phone, we see Didi keep checking on his phone. It's text messages. Jam all on his phone talking. Jones is texting. You never see them react to the news clip. You can see their freaking phones clear as day. So the cop doesn't correct Exhibit 30, but it's Exhibit 33, but he's still being led. Then the feds bring up the TMZ video of Quando Rondo.
Beverly and Los Angeles at the mobile. Hey, what was it? I don't know. Look, hey, what was that? I know, Baker. I know. What was it at?
Now, the in and out shit is interesting because the lie about the payments of everybody being paid was never true. And y'all got to remember, that was in the first superseding indictment. So they said Jam was getting a soda, and it wasn't a soda, it was a damn lemonade. So Brian still gets up there and absolutely puts belt to yeah. Anyways, he say that the cop was on there basically got on August the 30th. The cops say, yeah, Brian still defines what he's supposed to know about the case and he's supposed to know everything. The dude like, yeah. So then the dude says, I'm a task force agent. I turned over all the stuff to the judge and then the feds picked it up. And then Brian still say, you spoke with Jim. Dude say, yeah. Brian still say, you were there 12 times with Jim. Dude say, yeah. He say, but I didn't ask any questions. Brian still like, but you spoke to him in custody.
It also came out that Jam spoke to the feds like 30 different occasions, which is like, if y'all ain't got a case after the first 2 times, bro, it's a wrap. And 30 times and this case still ain't open and shut. Y'all speak to this motherfucker for information 30 times and it still ain't an open and shut case.
Dude like, yeah. Brian still like, y'all wrote notes and y'all recorded it 3 times out of the 12 times y'all met. Dude like, I don't know. They were 302 summary. 302 summary is basically that you have somebody that's recording all of this shit as far as writing it all down. There's a reason for that. We get into it in just a moment. Brian still say, well, why did y'all, have a recorder? Dude say, I don't know. There's a 302 summary. And Brian still say, so y'all take what the officer says, and then he say, yeah. And then basically, Vonnie talked to him, no. Keith Jones talks to him basically 7 times and 1 time it's recorded. Then Brian still say, who said no recording? The cop says, the feds. Then Brian still basically say, so Vonnie met with y'all 10 times and no recording? The cop say, yeah. Brian still like, why y'all ain't record? Dude like, I don't know. Brian still say, is recording the best? Dude say this out his mouth. Yeah, he say, tell the jury what's the best method. The cops say, record it. So Brian still like, anything said if y'all made a deal against Durk, it wasn't recorded. The damn cop walked right into this shit. He say, we would have recorded it. It wasn't said. Brian still say, but how do we know? Dude gonna say, man, we write it all down. So Brian still gets up there.
Oh, shit. Yo, I'm telling you, bro, these cops is getting cooked, bro. The police, these badges, fried, bro. These badges is gonna fuck y'all whole case up, bro. These badges ain't ready for prime time, bro. Especially when like these is beat cops, like these is patrol cops, bro. They drive around, they give niggas tickets. You really think they ready to go against lawyers that like Brian Steele and Drew Finley? You know how much they get paid? These is like upper echelon lawyers, like. These is like the best attorneys these are like the best attorneys money can buy. You think some patrol cop who goes into McDonald's for coffee and donuts, you think he ready for cross-examination? Like, come on now. Yeah, the badges ain't ready for prime time, man. They gonna fuck your case up.
So then,
which is good for us. Free Durk. What's good for Durk?
Brian still gets into it, and Brian still like, hey man, so y'all told these cats that when you cracked in the feds, bro, you're done. Ain't no, you get life, bro. Ain't no parole, ain't no nothing. It's straight life. Dude, like, I didn't say that. It wasn't me. Brian still like, y'all said it was murder for hire, because Brian still is calling these cops teammates. Brian still know what he do. He's slick as goddamn oil spit. And Brian still say, the shooters want to get home at times and they make up stories, don't they? And dude like, yeah. I said, damn, Brian, getting it in right now. Brian still say, y'all need to approve or deny what's actual factual. Like what's actually real has to be approved by y'all. The dude say, yeah. Then Brian still bring up, he like, hey man, so look, man. Durk is basically the big fish. And dude like, he ain't really said nothing. So then Brian still brings up that Jim said he called Lil Durk at 6:44 a.m. at 8:18. Y'all know the day before the killing and all that shit, that Thursday. And Jim like, I was with my son, I was with my kid, I was with my wife or my baby mama. And then Brian still like, did you research if he dropped his kid off or did you research if anybody was in there? They was like, man, nah, we ain't letting that in. So the damn, the feds pop up and was like, nah, hell nah, we can't let that in. The cop the judge like, nah, that's not getting in, strike that. So then we bring up a document that says May 5th, 2021. And that document is crazy. So then Brian still gets into it, and Brian's still like, hey, man, so y'all told...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Cross-examination is looking like a pizza party. Brian Steele's cooking.
So then Brian still gets into it, and Brian's still like, hey, man, so y'all told these cats that when you cracked in the feds, bro, you're done. Ain't no...
That's the same joint?
So then Brian still gets into it, and Brian's still like, hey, man, so y'all told these cats that when you cracked in the feds, bro, you're...
So...
And the reason that document is crazy is because it's the Astro Sounds contract. But it's been
he might have just, I think he just skipped one because he's posted part 4 twice.
Bug on saying that's the press manager. I mean, that's the president, manager, and the organizer, and it's not signed by Lil Durk. And Brian still brings that up. He's like, there's no proof Lil Durk knew about the MX cards. He didn't sign it or any of that shit. So then Brian still brings up Durk's name was used by Vonnie, but nobody used the cards but Vonnie. So we found out only Vonnie is the one using these freaking cards, bro. So Brian still says it again, says, tell the jury. And he says this shit to the jury because he's not looking at the jury when he's testifying. So it says Jason Smith used the cards to buy fights. And then Brian still says, what text did you see for the fights? Then the cop walks right into this when it says, don't book no flights with my name on it. Brian still says, we'll get to that. But no others? The cop says no. So Brian still says, did you see Vonnie and Smith calls? And then playing phone tag and all this shit? And Brian still like, I mean, the cop like, yeah. Brian still like, William Malcolm was supposed to come and didn't. And they're like, yeah, but Durk never called William Malcolm at all. You don't see any freaking calls between him. Then you see 817, 819, 820, Jam and Durk ain't speak on the phone. And that's important because of what we said earlier about the cop, about Jam saying, bruh, hey, man, I talked to Durk the day before I flew out or the day that I flew out. And he just basically walked into that and was like, nah, that actually, I didn't see no calls between that. And then basically the cops say, I know Durk Banks' names was used to buy them fights. And then they bring up Exhibit 118, and that's the text. And the reason that document is...
Hey. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the badge is not ready for prime time, bro. The badges just wasn't ready. Like I said, this is a Fed case. So the badges, the patrol cops, they had to been taken off the case earlier because it's just too many details that they just don't know about or just unaware of, or they just didn't do their due diligence. Like I highly doubt like the feds didn't do their due diligence. But if everybody involved is like this ignorant about the case, this is about to be a cakewalk for Durk. This looks like a cakewalk for Durk now because you got to involve the detectives, right?
So Brian still brings up the freaking text, and the freaking feds is like, nah, you can't bring that in. But Brian's still so crafty that, remember, what did the cops say? The cops say, oh, Durk said don't book no fights with my name on it. Oh, shit. Okay, cool. So then the government like, it's no foundation for that. The judge like, no, your cop said it. So then we find out that Durk was sending some messages to somebody who wasn't responding on 8817, and he say, you still gonna post? They're like, nobody said anything. So then Durk texts, I'm gonna fall back from this. And he said all this shit, and the cop was basically like, I don't know what this means. And Brian still is walking him down because if you don't know what none of these texts mean, but you know what don't book no fights in my name mean, there has to be a reason, right? So then Durk say, let's flip this real quick. Durk say, I'm gonna just fall back from this shit. And then Durk texts the person blood. And then the cops say, oh, that means blood means homie in Chicago. So then why did y'all name Lil Durk Blood and not everybody else Blood? So then Durk then texts, don't book no fights, no names involved with me. And then the cop says, that means because he didn't want to be involved. That's why I said don't book it. And then Brian's still like, so James Smith is employed by Lil Durk. Cop like, yeah. Brian's still like, so he didn't listen? Cop like, nah, the fights was already booked when Durk said that. So then Brian still walks him down again. Brian still said, but you said Friday the fights were booked, right? Dude like, yeah. But then Brian still say, But they was booked again after Durk told them don't book no shit in my name. So if they was already purchased before, why did you book the damn fights? But then you sit around and you don't book them another way. So he didn't listen to none of the shit Durk said. So there's no way to know that dude even read these messages at all. At all. So then the dude say, I can only tell you what's sent by Durk. Brian still say, so why did he listen the second time? And dude flat out his mouth say, I don't know. And then we went to break. So Brian still brings up the freaking...
Dog. Bro, this is like rotisserie chicken, bro. I'm not gonna lie. So, like everybody knows, well, if you don't know, like, they're trying to say, like, Vonnie already admitted to his part in what he did. Vonnie and Jam already said, yo, look, we're this, we done that, but we're doing it on the fact that Durk is telling us to do it. They have to connect the fact that, okay, y'all admitted to doing all this, but we have to prove that Durk is telling y'all to do it. Dog, they can't prove that Durk is telling these niggas to do nothing. They can't prove it. You got... The police didn't properly go through the text threads. It's just not making sense. You say, okay, well, Vonnie, you're going, well, Durk is in charge. Durk is the boss. If Durk is the boss, when he say jump, you say how high. Nothing else. If Durk is in charge, when he say run, you say how far. You mean to tell me Durk is saying do this and you're doing the opposite? And then your excuse is, well, it was already done. Well, if it was already done, why would you do it again? So which is it? Was it already done or was it not done until Durk told him to do it? Bro, bro, they not listening to Smirk, bro. It's the evidence even shows they not listening to Smirk. Look, Lil Durk's lawyer, Brian Steele, just got inside jury's heads, quote unquote, by getting detective to admit it's possible OTF Jam and Vonnie could be cooperating to put innocent people away to save themselves. Bro, this is why all y'all look crazy that was saying that Durk had told. Because OTF Jam and Vonnie had already admitted to doing the things. Like, they already came out and said, look, we did this, we did that. They already admitted to doing stuff. They're trying to say we're doing it because of Durk. Now, Durk's defense is like, yo, like, nah, they in cahoots. They trying to say that Durk told them to do it so they can put Durk in jail and kind of save themselves. Easy, bro. Easiest things, bro. This is a cakewalk, bro. Walk them down, and bro, walking them down, bro. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Come on now, bro. Y'all gotta step harder. Y'all gotta step harder. And look at this. Defense reveals Lil Durk reportedly fired OTF Vonnie in 2023. Durk fired this nigga 3 years ago. That's not his man's. He don't work for Durk. Durk fired this motherfucker 3 years ago, bro. That's not even his boy. Like, that was, cause what they trying to say is, look, Vonnie is Von Mans. Like, Vonnie said he slid for Von and all that. Cool, yeah, we was keeping him around for Von. That was Von Man. So if he's sliding for Von, that's his thing. That don't got nothing to do with us. Like, that was Von's homeboy. We didn't really know him like that. Von's homeboy, cousin, compadre, peeps, comrades, homie, whatever niggas is calling himself. That was his man's. We wasn't like Durk said, yo, they fired the nigga. See? You see? He said, man, for all y'all saying that Smirk, Durk not coming home. For all y'all saying all that dumb shit, Durk not coming home. Bro, y'all dumb as fuck. Y'all don't know what y'all be talking about, bro. Like, half of y'all, like, y'all just be chatting. That's that, but that's that Vlad and, not Vlad and Academics, that Vlad and, Trap Lord Raw shit. They some sucker ass niggas. They just trying to paint a narrative against Durk and then hating ass 6ix9ine. He mad because he told. What the fuck is this? Whack 100 completely destroys the narrative that Lil Durk snitched on OTF Vonnie. Man.
Little Durk is a snitch.
Don't say that.
Nah.
Don't even formulate a sentence like that. Like, don't even try to shock value your way into getting a clip or a video. Don't even put those words in that order. That's crazy.
Hey, listen, man. It's too many of y'all. Listen, one thing about the exposers. When we call you a rat because you ratted, it's documented, it's right there.
Facts.
Let's get this right. This guy went over here and made a deal with the feds. He made a deal with the feds and said, I did all this and all this and all this and all that. I committed all these acts, whatever they may be, because Lil Durk told me to do it and paid me to do it. This what he said. He put that out there already. Lil Durk's attorneys simply said, hey, you did all that because you wanted to do all that. Yes, you did all that. How do we know? Because you copped to the federal agents to say you admitting to doing that. He admitted to doing that. So if he admitted to doing that and then followed up with Durk told me and paid me to do it, I did it for Durk. Is Durk not supposed to say, I ain't paid you to do nothing. I don't know about nothing you talking about.
Facts.
You did that because you chose to do that, and the people know you did that not because I told them, it's because you told them. So how you calling Durk a rat? Hey, look, man, some of y'all civilians who ain't never did time, been in no courtrooms, and all of that, y'all need to stop talking. Y'all sound crazy, man. Free Durk. Stop the cap.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. All y'all sucker ass niggas, all y'all internet detectives and internet gangsters and fake ass niggas, y'all all gotta yeah, stop all that cap, stop all that hating on stop all that hating on Durk, stop all that cap, bro. Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all be talking about, bro. What's this? Didi's lawyer just claps back. Didi's lawyer just clapped back, saying Didi didn't write the message. Hold on, wait. Let me read this in order first. Let me hold up. Let me read this shit in order. Let me get the whole scene post of it. Let me get everything from the start of the day. 14 hours ago. I feel like this was earlier today. 14 hours ago? This was earlier this morning? Didi's lawyer just said Vonnie had ties to the cartel. I wonder where that came from. You see, look, he dick sucking. Like, why would you even word it like that? Like, why? Like, what you trying? Like, and Didi is a co-defendant with Durk. Didi is Lil Durk's co-defendant. So you already said yesterday that Durk was trying to blame everything on Vonnie. Now you coming out saying Didi's lawyer said Vonnie had ties to the cartel. I wonder where that information came from. And then you wonder why everybody is saying, like, yo, you trying to, like, paint a narrative that's, like, going against or trying to, like, destroy the credibility of Durk on, like, the kind of stand-up guy that him and his people are. Like, bro, why did you word it like that? If you reporting on the information, that's my whole thing. If you're going to play that role, like, if you got a side, you got a side. Like, I want Durk free. And I'm not about to act like that's not, like, I want Durk free. I'm not about to act like that's not the case. But don't try to sit here and act like, oh, I'm just a journalist or the media personality that I'm just covering it. I have no dog in the fight. It doesn't matter to me, his street credibility. I just want whoever really did it in jail. Yada, yada, yada. Don't be that guy and then coming out here saying, I wonder where that came from, bro. That's dick riding, bro. You not the guy, you lying. You obviously have an agenda and you obviously want to persuade people to believe or want to persuade people to align themselves with whatever you believe or whatever story you concocted in your head, bro. Like, Trap Lord Ross is so full of shit, bro. Durk's hitman caught on Durk's hitman. And then, but you don't got no dog in this fight. Yo, Trap Lord Ross, you want some 6ix9ine shit. I'm not gonna lie, bro, because 6ix9ine is out here parading. Like, 6ix9ine basically saying he want the nigga jail. Oh, I didn't even see this. Why are you saying Durk's hitman? Are you helping the situation? Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one that peeped. See, everybody in the comments. Bro, I'm so glad everybody in the comments peeped that weird shit, too. I didn't even see the comments. I didn't see the comments. I didn't see this tweet. That shit just threw me the fuck off. Durk's hitman, you want some weird 6ix9ine shit. See, look, 6ix9ine is out here like a little sucker-ass nigga because 6ix9ine want Durk in jail because he's jealous because we don't like him, but we like Durk. Now, you out here, you talking about some Durk's hitman. Why would you say that? Remember what I said in the beginning of the stream. Innocent until proven guilty, but we often forget that and we make people guilty before and they got to prove that they're innocent. There is no proof. It hasn't even been proved yet in these last 4 days in court. It's been 4 days in court and there's been no proof saying that these are Durk's hitmen. And you're talking about Durk's hitmen. Every tweet, every video you make, you're trying to discredit Durk and all his people. Why? That's weird. And then when people get mad at you, you acting like, oh, you're attacking me for no reason. Nah, that's not the case. Look, read the rest of the dumb shit. So Durk's hitmen caught on in and out camera, all checking their phones, likely looking at the news of Quando Rondo screaming no. That footage from TMZ was shown in court immediately after. Now, if you're on YouTube, I probably cut the beginning of the stream, so you probably not even want to see this. Most likely, I don't know, it depends, because this video will be lengthy. But if you're on the stream, if you're watching the whole stream over, or if you're on the stream, dog, we just watched the Seti Nash video. And he already said when they pulled up the footage from the in and out, everybody's phone was visible. They never went and looked at the Quando Rondo video. So why would Trap Lord Ross come on here and call these niggas Durk's hitmen, and then said they were most likely looking at their phones and looking at the Quando Rondo video? You have no proof of them being Durk's hitmen, and it's already been proven that they weren't looking at that video because they got them on camera in 4K. But you want to sit here and tell us that you have no dog in the fight, bro? You obviously bro. He obviously wants the worst for Durk, bro. Now look at this dumb shit. Mind you, I didn't see none of these tweets before. This is all news to me. So as I'm reading this, I'm just noticing how much of a sucker ass nigga he is. So Didi tagged Quando Rondo in a post right after the shooting that killed Pab, saying exactly this: Quando Rondo, where you at? Quando Rondo, where was your pipe at, gang? I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy. Didi tagged Quando Rondo in a post right after the shooting, saying exactly this: at Quando Rondo, where your pipe at, gang? He said that? I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I mean, what that mean for Durk though? Yeah, that's crazy. But like, that don't really mean nothing for Durk though. So like, free DD. That don't mean shit to Durk. What the fuck that got to do with Durk? And mind you, they're co-defendants, but Durk and Didi already tried to get his case separated from Durk's. But like, I feel like it's gonna be a cakewalk for Didi too, because all the same shit they can just say, cause like, they're trying to say Durk is in charge, so Didi can just say all the same shit, like, yo, dog, I wasn't. Yeah. But Didi sent news clip of Lil Pab murder to the following people right after mention saying he playing crazy. What up? He sent to Laverne, Boona, Wickman, and Breezo. Who's Breezo? Is Breezo 600 Breezy? I know that's one of his other aliases. I know that's what he go by. But Didi sent news clip of Lil Pab murder to the following people. He sent it to Vernie. I mean, this also doesn't prove anything. After scouting the hit and the BMW M5, OTS Vonnie was parked in the car. OTS Vonnie parked the car in Hollywood and got an Uber to Durk's house and whatever that is. I ain't from California. But so after scouting the hit, so I guess what he was I seen something that they were trying to say that Vonnie was at the hotel or was in the vicinity of Quando Rondo the night before, whatever, or early mornings, like 1 a.m. or something. So they trying to say the BMW, if y'all don't know, like, so boom. And there's like a picture of this somewhere. I'm gonna try to pull it up actually, because there's like a picture. Let me see if it's on academics. If it's on academics, I'll try my best to really explain. Yeah, it ain't on here. Come on, rare L. So they're like, there's like a picture of like them tailing Quando Rondo, and in the picture there's an Infinity. That's the stolen car that had jam in there, etc. And then there's the M5, the BMW with Vonnie in there. So in this M5, which was rented, so it had a tracker in it, so it was tracked the whole time. They're saying that this was the M5 that Vonnie was in, and he was staked out to see where Quando Rondo was going to be the night before, and then parked it, and then called an Uber to Durk's. And then I guess the next morning or the next day, hopped back in the BMW And then that's when they want to go. And mind you, nobody in the car in the BMW ever hopped out of the car and did anything. So I don't even know why the BMW was even on the scene. Everybody that did the shooting was in the Infinity. So I don't know why the BMW was even on the scene. Durk looked stressed out and grimaced and rubbed his forehead during a long showing of killers all looking at their phones and an in and out, followed by his Amex records with all the killers' fights booked on his account. Durk lawyers look stressed. Now, like I said, if you didn't see the beginning of this, if you're not on the stream, I already did the Seti Nash thing. Looked at the Seti Nash video, and Seti Nash already confirmed. It wasn't Mo Gangit. I don't even remember. I looked at some Seti Nash and Mo Gangit videos, Lawyer for Workers, but it's already been confirmed that Durk never used these cards. These cards was really Vonnie's cards. Like these Amex cards that was under Durk's name, they was really for OTF Vonnie. It's looking like Vonnie wasn't charged to me. I don't know. And this is what we got. Didi's lawyer just clapped back saying Didi didn't write the messages adding Quando. It was just a repost. But in making that point, he revealed this was a post of Quando Rondo screaming no after the murder. Durk's lawyers looked uncomfortable that this was discussed for so long. So boom. What we just seen with the whole, okay, Didi tagged Quando Rondo right after the shooting situation and tagged him at "Where's your pipe at?" That was a repost. Didi didn't type that in. He didn't add him and type that in. He tagged him, but the whole "Where your pipe at" gang was a repost. So Didi didn't type that. He didn't pull a back in the day Chicago Savage "Where your pipe at" situation. It wasn't one of those. It damn sure wasn't one of those. Which is better for Didi, but this nigga Trap Lil Ross. Mind you, Trap Lil Ross is in the courtroom and he's wording shit like idiotically on purpose. Like he's wording shit the way he's wording it on purpose. Like,
All right, so I'm out here outside the courthouse. We got a whole bunch of friends. We made new friends. We made haters along the way, man. There's a whole lot going on out here. But what is going on is that there was some new testimony. The lead detective on the case has been testifying. They gave some more information. We ended yesterday after we kind of heard all of the updates about, we saw the surveillance footage inside the gas station convenience store. We saw the shooting as it happened. But this time we saw a whole bunch of extra stuff. And really, we heard a lot about the cars, all right? It was here Durk be talking about we on them cars. Well, apparently they was really on them cars. Now, the BMW that Vonnie was driving was hiding 2 blocks away, about 7 minutes walk away, 2 blocks driving from when the murder happened. But what's crazy is we actually heard that it's likely that when Quando Rondo's car fled the scene after the shooting, it might have actually driven right past where Vonnie's BMW was hiding. But you know what's even more crazy? It wasn't entirely clear before exactly what was going on. We know that BMW had gone to and from Durk's house a whole bunch of times, but they revealed Vonnie was trying to be slick. He basically allegedly had driven that BMW, all right, from 2 blocks down the street after seeing Quando Rondo's car go past. He went and parked the BMW somewhere in Hollywood, and you know what he did? He then got an Uber directly to Durk's house from where he left the car, and they know where he left the car. So that's not really a great look, to be honest with you guys. That's not looking too good for Vonnie. So right after that, all right, that's basically what we ended up seeing was everybody linked up at In-N-Out before Vonnie ditched the car. But apparently, quite literally minutes before, as the alleged killers were walking into In-N-Out to go and get a burger, the flights home was suddenly booked. Someone from Durk's team allegedly booked the flights. It was connected to his Amex account, and basically they're saying that the flights were booked and then the killers had it in and out and then they flew back to Chicago, a whole bunch of them together. So that's not really such a great look, all right? It honestly was like pretty intense. I mean, I'm trying to see what else was going on. There was a whole bunch of other interesting stuff, but I'm going to get to it in a different video for you guys. But that's kind of the update on the car. There was a whole bunch of stuff about the car. The cross-examination didn't really yield too much. They tried to say, oh, well, they said at the rental spot they had a selfie with the guy that runs the rental spot with Durk. They said, well, they had pictures of people with other celebrities, and the detective was just like, I don't remember any of that. And it was like, what were they going to do? Be like, oh, yeah, there was a picture of, I don't know, the rental shop owner with LeBron. Maybe LeBron committed the murder. It's like, yeah, but one of the murder cars didn't end up and go to and from LeBron's house. So it was a little bit of a strange line of questioning. But yeah, they're doing everything they can. And obviously everything's been very controversial since yesterday, that they said, you know, Vonnie was blaming everything on Dirk. Dirk was blaming everything on Vonnie. So it's
No, they never said Dirk was blaming everything on Vonnie. You said Dirk was blaming everything on Vonnie. You're the reason that this narrative of Dirk being a rat is even out. You doing it.
definitely getting a little bit messy. There's a couple of really big updates, and we're all anticipating alleged testimony from OTF Jam. So I'll let you know when that happens. Peace. All right, so I'm out.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on the testimony from this fat motherfucker, bro. I'm waiting for him to get up in there and say something.
So one of the most intense things that we saw today was a very long and extended look at what was going on inside that In-N-Out Burger location after the murder happened. Now, we saw basically, you know, the alleged hitters along with DD in the In-N-Out. But not only were they in the In-N-Out, they were checking their phones. They were all looking at their phones. At one point, DD put his arm around Jam and showed him something on his phone. It was ages. And I'm not going to lie, we saw the whole footage. It was multiple minutes long. It was a long-ass time. We basically watched them waiting for their...
I ain't gonna lie, yeah. This is basically what we just went over in the motherfucking I'm not even about to allow him to reiterate this nonsense. It's basically what I just went over with the tweets. Like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll cut that first half. But when they were setting Nash video, they seen everything that was on their phone. They never let the Quando Rondo video. This motherfucker, Trap Lord Ross, is a cornball. He's trying to paint a narrative. He's operating like 6ix9ine, DJ Vlad. He's gone against Lil Durk and OTF. He's not using facts, and he's just an overall terrible person. Now, I am waiting for the OTF Jam testimony. I'm so mad, like how limited to the information that we are. Like, I can only get it. Like, I have the third party all the information. Like, I just can't. There's no source I can go to. Like, I gotta wait till like one of these people who are actually there reports on the information, which is like so fucking like frustrating. But the situation, it is what it is. But I'm gonna be back up once Jam testifies. I'm not saying that I'm gonna go. I'll have a YouTube video up, so y'all can just go over to my YouTube if you're watching this on Twitch, if you're watching it live, if you're watching the VOD. YouTube is at Lowkey2Cold. If you're on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, slide to my Twitch stream. I will be streaming for the Durk case every day. So slide over to at LowkeyCGB. And slide over to YouTube when Jam gets on the stand. I'm having